Welcome to this week's episode of Fantasyland Adventures, a podcast where we talk all things Disney, Universal, and travel. My name is Jamie. This is my co-host Brandy. We are travel professionals with such a time as this, a travel agency. How are you this evening? Are you excited for a fun evening of podcasting?
I cannot wait. I'm excited about this topic that we're going to touch on tonight.
It's one of our favorite places, but first we've got some news coming out of Universal. Just want to remind everybody that Epic Universe is going to be opening in 2025 at Universal, so that's something to keep in mind for your vacation destinations. It's going to have things like Super Mario Brothers World. It's going to have How to Train Your Dragon, a new Harry Potter land, and a few other things that I think are going to be some nice additions to Universal.
Universal's really stepping their game up, I think, with Epic Universe and DreamWorks Land.
Yeah, I know our oldest is excited for the Mario stuff. She's big into Mario right now. So some of the haunted houses for Halloween Horror Nights have been announced. Are you ready for Halloween Horror Nights?
You know, we really don't get into the horror. You know, I had a bad experience at a haunted house when I was a little kid. I was tucked in my dad's shoulder the entire time.
It's all pretend, you'll be alright.
Couldn't tell me that then.
So they've got a couple of houses that they've announced so far. We're not going to go into detail about a ton of them, but we are going to go ahead and mention them. We got the museum, a deadly exhibit. You're going to check out the Rotting Stone, the local folklore museum's infamous new exhibit. An evil spirit escapes from within, possessing the other displays and decaying everything in its path. Doesn't that sound exciting?
Sounds great.
And next
Sounds
one,
like you can go and
you're not gonna come with me? They got good food.
Enjoy that.
They got good food.
You can enjoy that without me.
Next up is Major Sweets Candy Factory. You've been invited to chaperone a field trip to a candy factory, but this sweet tour is about to turn sour when free samples transform the kids into candy-coated killers wielding sharpened candies.
Sounds like Willy Wonka with Violet.
Yeah, that just sounds terrifying. Then we've got Goblin's Feast. Welcome to Goblin Feast Tavern and visit the Goblin Village, where a lavish feast is being prepared for goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, and witches. And they're going to eat us.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pass.
Come on now. We can do it.
I don't think this is, that's not my alley.
Next one we're going to mention is the Slaughter Cinema 2. If you're dying for a B-movie marathon, head to the Cary Drive-In. Scream through scenes from Creatures, Features, grindhouse gore, spaghetti westerns, and more. So that's going to sum it up for the houses we've had announced so far as a recording of this podcast. If you want to keep an eye out on Universal's social media, they're announcing different houses throughout the time leading up to Halloween Horror Nights. There's also, in Universal news, a new roller coaster coming to Universal Hollywood in 2026, which is going to be Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. That'll be fun for roller coaster people. It sounds like it's going to be somewhat based on maybe Tokyo Drift, but a Hollywood version of that in the whole Fast and Furious movies. Moving into Disney, I know we've talked about this a lot for the last day or so. The drone show at Disney Springs is now live to the public. That started on May the 24th. I've been trying not to watch a ton of videos. I know we've seen some stuff. What do you think of what you've seen so far?
What I've seen so far has been pretty good. I think the biggest issue opening weekend was just it was so crowded, and it's something that they haven't done there before, but I think it's going to be a great addition to the parks and something to do on your off day, something different, you know, especially if you have anyone that's maybe doesn't like the fireworks, might be sensitive.
Yeah.
You know, it's a show they can listen to without all the loud noise.
Right. They do have, I've heard they have some good audio. Again, we're going down in a couple of weeks. I'm trying not to spoil it. So I've seen some pictures. They've got, some Peter Pan stuff, some Star Wars. But I've seen a couple of the vloggers that we normally watch.
We'll have to figure out where the best spot to watch it is.
Yeah. We are staying at Port Orleans French Quarter. We mentioned that in last week's episode. So we're right down the street from Disney Springs. So I'm sure we'll be there at least a couple times in the evenings. Like she mentioned, opening day was kind of crazy. I don't think that's going to be the case every single day.
Everything's always going to wind down. It's just that initial.
Yeah. Well, you've got not only you have people there that are on vacation, but you've got content creators trying to gather everything. We've seen all these
everything
videos.
for the first time.
they're trying to be there and get some of the first videos out there. Something else to keep in mind if you're traveling in the spring, summer of 2025, the Stormalong Bay at Yacht and Beach Club is going to be going through a refurbishment that is going to be down for an extended period of time. So it's a great pool. It's something that is definitely worth staying there for. But if that's the big reason that you're going to stay there, you may want to consider some other options. It's still a great resort. You're still
It's
within
still a great
walking.
resort. You're very close to Epcot.
Yeah, you can walk
I know
to
when
Epcot.
we stayed there, it was nothing. Hey, let's go grab dinner real quick.
Yeah. That being said, there is other pools at the Yacht and Beach Clubs that you can enjoy, just not that one. Let's see what else we got. They've had some continued testing of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. They've had some music playing in the background. Also, it looks like they're putting some finishing touches on the queue. Like we talked about, I'm excited for that attraction to open. Hopefully, in a couple weeks, we get to experience that during the AP previews. We've also got on the We Call It Imagineering YouTube channel, we've got some look at the Country Bears Jamboree. They've got a new wardrobe and they're supposed to reopen this summer. Did you ever do Country Bears Jamboree?
I did not.
We did that. I can remember being in there, but I can't remember a whole heck of a lot of the show when I was a kid. Haven't been in a while. We've never been since we've been going.
We've never been. So, it'll be exciting to see the differences that they do. And
yeah, maybe we'll try before we go down there. When it's open, we'll try to find a video of the old stuff that we can kind of compare and contrast. Something that's a controversial topic, not going to spend a whole heck of a lot of time on it. The new DAS Pass changes at Disney are now in effect. They have basically revamped how they're approving people for the DAS Pass, which if you guys don't know what that is, it's the Disability Access Service, I believe is what it stands for. It's going to allow people to not necessarily skip the line, but basically get in line.
It's like a return time.
Basically, yeah, exactly like a return time. Unfortunately, there were people that were taking advantage of it, so Disney has cracked down and they have gotten extremely specific. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because there were people that were taking advantage of it, which is unfortunate. However, I've heard of people who need it and they're not getting it.
Having a hard time.
So I hope Disney hears those things and maybe makes a couple changes if needed. And I hope that the people who need one actually
can get one. Yeah. Absolutely.
Fantasmic is going to return to Disneyland on May the 24th. They had an incident a while back with some pyrotechnics, and that is set to come back on May the 24th. Packages for Aulani, which is Disney's resort in Hawaii for 2025, are now available.
Are we going to go?
I don't know, are we?
You're not flying to Hawaii.
We'd have to go to Disneyland first. Go to Disneyland, stop, spend a couple days, and then go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Do the same thing coming back.
But you're not going to get on a plane.
I have to get on a plane to go there. It takes a lot. Something else that's not necessarily news, they've been out for a little while, but just want to remind everybody, Halloween on the High Seas and Very Maritime Cruises for Disney Cruise Line are available to book now. So if you want to experience one of those voyages, go ahead and give us a holler and we'll get you a quote. So we are going to continue with our resort series. We're going to stay in the Magic Kingdom area and kind of work our way around. Last week we talked about Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. If you haven't listened to that, go back and grab that one and give it a listen. Now, we're going to talk about a subject that we like to talk about.
Near and dear to our
Very
hearts.
near and dear to our hearts, which is Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. This resort opened on October 1st, 1971. It was an opening day resort. It's kind of themed to that Adventureland-ish kind of theming. So, some pros and cons. Pro, monorail resort. We mentioned that as well with the Grand Floridian.
Con, monorail resort.
Con, monorail resort.
There's always a lot of people there.
Yeah, there is a ton of people. But
just in the lobby.
Yeah. It's not so bad once you get outside. The main lobby is called the Great Ceremonial House for anybody who's never been there. That's where you're going to find some of the dining and shopping and all that kind of stuff. There's no actual rooms in that building. It's kind of in the whole main hub area. If you go outside of that, it's actually pretty peaceful. There's not a whole lot of people walking around like in between. They're called longhouses in between all those. So that's something to keep in mind. That being said, being on the monorail is going to provide easy access to Magic Kingdom and Epcot.
It is super convenient.
Yeah, especially with young kids, you can get back and forth. The theming here is probably, I'm going to say it's probably the best themed resort on property.
If you're not looking for straight up Disney theme,
exactly.
This has a very tropical, islandy feel to it and smell.
Yeah. If you've never smelled the Polynesian
there are
lobby,
a ton of hidden Mickeys throughout the resort, and the rooms they just redid.
Yep.
To Moana. And they still have some Lilo and Stitch throughout.
So we mentioned that the con being on the monorail can be a little bit of an issue. It's a popular resort.
It's a very popular resort. It's got Ohana, which is a really popular breakfast spot, and it also has a really good dinner. Yeah. And then you have Kona Cafe.
You've got a ton of
Trader Sam's.
Not to mention, outside of being in the Disney parks, that's where you can eat Dole Whip. So something to keep in mind. There's going to be a lot of people, especially like we mentioned in that Great Ceremonial House area. If you get outside of that, not bad. No. It's pretty quiet, around the actual rooms. She mentioned the smell. If you've never been inside the Polynesian lobby, go inside the Polynesian lobby. That's one of the best smells, in my opinion, on Disney property. We have Scentsy stuff that smells like it, candles, you name it. Any other pros or cons for the Polynesian that you can think of?
I really like the pool.
The pool is fantastic. We're going to get into details on the pool here shortly. But the pool is great.
Also, they have a 5th sleeper room option. Yeah. So if you are a family of 5,
you can
stay there pretty easily with that 5th sleeper.
Yeah. Another thing, a lot of the deluxe resorts have it, not just the Polynesian, is a lot of them have the separate bathroom and bathing areas where they'll have one that has a shower door, and then another one has a tub and a commode. Yeah. So those are some pros and cons for the Polynesian. It's one of our favorite resorts. It's the one it's the one we stayed at the most because we try to hit as many different ones as we can, but we
always tend to gravitate back towards the Poly.
That's been the big repeat one. So we mentioned a little bit about dining. Ohana. It's a character breakfast that has Mickey, Pluto, Lilo, and Stitch. It's going to be served family style, which if you don't know what that means, they're going to bring out a bunch of stuff and put it on the table. You can eat as much as you want.
And you can always ask for more.
You can always ask for more.
I recommend asking for more of the ham.
The ham is good. So speaking of the ham, the menu for breakfast is going to be Mickey and Stitch waffles, potatoes, ham, sausage, pineapple coconut, breakfast bread. They're going to have pog juice, which is pineapple, orange, and guava. And it is going to be around $49 for adults and $30 for kids. Dinner's going to be things like a mixed green salad. They're going to have some regular bread, some honey coriander wings, pork dumplings, teriyaki beef, peel and eat shrimp, and grilled chicken, along with the famous Ohana noodles and some stir-fried veggies. And for dessert, they're going to have a pineapple bread pudding with caramel sauce and vanilla ice cream.
And if you haven't been there or seen anything, it comes out, the caramel's warm, and they pour it over top of the ice cream.
And it melts over it.
It's really
good. So dinner is going to be $62 for adults and $40 for kids. It's not the cheapest meal, but it is good. I think it's about on par with most other things.
It is good. I am not more lenient towards the teriyaki soy type of.
It has a heavy soy for dinner, like a lot of
food, but it is good. Yeah, I'll eat there, but it's not one that I'm gonna say, hey, let's go there for dinner.
Right. That being said, if you're there and you want to see the fireworks,
absolutely, it's a gorgeous view.
Great spot to see the fireworks.
We've seen them.
We have. They're gonna have the music playing in the restaurant. It's gonna be really nice. That's a hard dining reservation to get. It's one that goes quick for breakfast and dinner. I mean, it's hard to get, kind of no matter what you want to do, but it is really good, and again, that's why it's popular. If you're looking for Ohana theme, with some of the options off the menu, there's Tambu Lounge, which is right outside of Ohana. They've got a lot of drinks there, and they've got some sushi options. Speaking of drinks, somewhere we haven't been, we were going to try to go the last trip we did, just us, but I think we ended up just hanging out at Wilderness Lodge, is going to be Trader Sam's, and that's going to be open from 3 p.m. to midnight. And you got to be 21 to enter. They're going to have appetizer stuff like pork tacos, Thai chicken flatbreads, and the dumplings. And like I said, specialty cocktails, beer, wines, and alcohol-free drinks. I've seen different pictures and videos from inside this place. It's really cool.
It does look, the theming looks really cool.
That being said, it's also one that you kind of got to wait to get into. You don't do a reservation. You just join a walk-up list. So make sure
it is busy.
It is busy. So if you wanna go there, make sure you allocate plenty of time to be able to do that. Continuing with our dining. I'm sorry, I didn't give you the cost. The average cost at Trader Sam's is going to be $15 to $35 for an adult. So Kona Cafe, they're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Their breakfast favorites are some things like Tonga toast. It's just a French toast entree kind of thing. I think it's got bananas stuffed inside of it with a banana caramel sauce. They also have macadamia nut pancakes.
Those sound really good.
They do sound good. We were
supposed to go, but I think we just had a long night.
Yeah.
We were at the Halloween party the night before.
Probably slept in.
And we just slept in, and it was kind of an earlier time.
Yeah. That's another one.
Just didn't make it over there.
That is popular for sure. So if you see it and you want to do it, make sure you grab that.
And then they also have the Kona Cafe to go.
Yeah, you can mobile order and get some stuff to go there too.
So if you're staying, at the Poly, that is an option you can do as well.
Yeah. So breakfast is going to be served from 7:30 to 11 a.m. And they're going to close for a half hour, and then they're going to bring out their lunch menu. And lunch is going to have some things like sushi, poke bowls, dashi bowls, burgers, and sandwiches. Dinner has got some similar items to lunch with the addition of some bigger entrees like pork chops and airline chicken, and that's going to be served from 5 to 10. So they've got a wide variety of hours. Where there's other restaurants on Disney property that don't quite open like they do. There are some that are just open for dinner or, stuff like that. So keep that in mind. They have a pool bar out by their pool. We mentioned their pool before. Their pool bar is really good. They have a margarita with lime Dole Whip, and it's also got a chili lime seasoning around the outside. Plus, they've got some Dole Whip with rum, which is really good if you're into the alcoholic drinks. They're also going to have things like salads, wings, a fruit and cheese plate, burger sandwiches, and some fish tacos. They're going to have more cocktails than we mentioned, but those are kind of the ones that
those are the ones we've tend
tried.
To lean towards. And they have a lot of cast members that are also walking around.
Yeah. You don't have to necessarily
order, so you don't necessarily have to go up to the bar.
Especially there's a lot of people, so you don't want to lose your seating. So they'll come around with a menu and you can order that way. Captain Cook's is the quick service there. I know we've eaten there quite a few times.
It's quite a few times staying there.
For a quick service, it's really good. Their breakfast is going to be around $15 a person. It's going to be served from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. and it's going to have things like Mickey waffles. It's going to have that Tonga toast that's up at Kona, so maybe that's something you want but don't necessarily want a whole sit-down dining reservation. You can get that from the quick service. They're also have some flatbreads and some breakfast burritos. They're going to have lunch and dinner. They're going to have the Thai coconut meatballs, which I've had. They're really good. You've had the pulled pork nachos. What did you think of those?
I thought they were pretty good for, the quick service.
Yeah, for theme park.
Theme park quick service nachos.
Lunch and dinner is going to be served from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. So you're going to have that same menu throughout the afternoon. So they also have some late night options like flatbread salads and other small snacks. That's going to be open from 11 p.m. to midnight. So if you're coming back late from Magic Kingdom or something like that, that's got a late open time, you can come on back and get you a snack. We mentioned the rooms. They've recently been renovated. They have some resort view rooms, water view, theme park view, suites, club level rooms, and some over the water bungalows with private pools. When are we going to stay in those?
When we hit the lottery.
They are very, very expensive. We've seen a couple of videos on them. They seem really nice.
They look very nice.
But those are those are DVC rooms. And they go super, super quick. So if you want them, you want to make sure you're either on it or working with a travel professional who can
get you in there.
And you're really going to have to pay attention. You're going to have to kind of plan that out. It's not really going to be a last minute kind of thing.
No, that's not a, hey, let's go next month.
Yeah, those are some of the rooms that sell out almost immediately. The new theming is going to be Moana, which is going to be a lot of the non-DVC rooms. are mostly going to be Moana. Some of the DVC are still going to be that Lilo and Stitch theming. We stayed there. We stayed there twice now. We stayed for one night on a split stay, and then we stayed there with your parents for, what were there, 4 nights? 5 nights, something like that?
4 or 5 nights.
When we stayed with your parents, we actually had 6, right? Yeah, us 4. And
we had 4 adults and 2 kids.
Yeah. Now, the one kid was an infant, so she was staying in a pack and play.
Yeah.
It was tight, but it wasn't bad.
It was doable.
Yeah. It's not something that I'd want to spend a ton of time in the room for with that many people. There's just, not a whole heck of a lot of room to spread out, but it's definitely for just hanging out for what we were using it for.
I mean, we didn't go theme park open to close. We kind of would go to the park and come back, and we did the Halloween party.
Yeah. My biggest complaint is that you had to take away the couch to get to the second bed.
Yeah.
So, if you're all just if somebody in that bed wants to take a nap, you lose your couch. But
I feel like you're getting that in any.
You can, certainly.
With any of them that have that Murphy style.
Yeah. It's just something to consider if you're looking at booking the Polynesian, or really any resort that's going to have that Murphy bed is going to be. Think about that when you're considering whether you can all fit into one room or if you want to go into 2. So we mentioned that they're longhouses and they're not all in one building. Like certain hotels, like the one that really comes to mind is Wilderness Lodge. Is going to mainly be that one big building. Now Wilderness Lodge does have some other ones, but we'll go into that in the Wilderness Lodge episode. But the Polynesian they are all in separate. They're called longhouses.
Yeah. And
they're based off the islands, which is kind of nice.
What are your thoughts on that?
I like it because, like we mentioned earlier, the Great Ceremonial House, where everything can be super busy. So when you go to your room, it's fairly quiet. It's nice and relaxing. It's not loud by any means. So if you got young kids trying to take a nap, it's pretty convenient. What about you?
I have mixed feelings about it. I get what you're saying with it being quiet, but in retrospect, I also look at, okay, hey, let's run and get some quick service breakfast real quick, and it's a little bit of a walk. Now, granted, you're gonna get that at most Disney properties.
Yeah.
You're gonna be a little bit of a ways away from the food, the drink options, but that would probably be my only downfall with it. But again, you're gonna get that
for sure
at any of them.
And something you can do is when you're booking these vacations is when you can look at a map and see, okay, we've got Hawaii Longhouse here, we've got Fiji or whatever it is, or any other resort. Yeah, they've got different names for the different buildings, and you can kind of look and request through Disney to be in a closer building. They may not be able to accommodate it. They'll do their best. A lot of that can be dependent on the room category you booked. But
availability.
They may have something that's been booked up for months and months and months and months. So, but they do try. They do their best. They're normally pretty good about honoring your requests. So we talked about some of the pools. What do you like about the pool? I know we mentioned last week about.
I feel like I kind of touched about this last week. For me with our littles, I like that the splash pad is not gated, separate from the pool.
It's a 0 entry pool, which is nice. The very first time we went, we just had the one kid.
We just had our oldest.
And she could run back and forth, and we didn't have to worry about her jumping in. She was running back and forth on the little 0 entry style pool. And she wasn't fully swimming by then. I mean, she was pretty good.
She knew how, but she wasn't swimming by herself.
But it was nice that she could stand.
Yeah, she didn't have to just really gained a lot of confidence in being able to stand and reach the bottom of the pool.
Yeah. So they do have a water slide there. It's a pretty fun one. Yeah, it's a pretty fun water slide. They've also got, we mentioned the pool bar. You're going to be overlooking Cinderella's castle.
Yeah, you can watch. We've watched the fireworks from there.
We've watched the fireworks from there multiple times.
And the water pageant parade.
Yep. They've got some jacuzzis right inside that area. They've also got a number of quiet pools on property that you can kind of get away and not be so hectic, which are also really nice. They don't have, a lot of them don't have that 0 entry. They're just more of a standard pool, but they do have a bar there.
They say they do have a bar there.
So you can get something to drink. It's a little bit closer to the
When we stayed with my mom and dad, we were right by.
Yeah, we were right outside that pool, so
Yep.
it's a lot closer to go over there if we just want to jump in and cool off. So for recreation, we've talked about the fireworks being viewed from the pool. There's also a huge beach area to relax, and you can watch fireworks from there. Now keep in mind, anybody can get there. So
Yep,
even if they're
it
not
can
staying
get
at the
crowded.
Polynesian, they can come over there and hang out on the beach and watch the fireworks, and they do.
But they can't do that all the time.
Yeah.
I think they shut it down for 4th of July.
Right. I do think there is some limitations for that, but for your standard Disney vacation,
Standard Disney,
they can come.
you can,
and hang
yeah.
out.
I think with certain holidays,
Yeah.
they do limit it to resort guests only.
Which is also, we mentioned the pool, that's also limited to resort guests.
Yeah.
Or supposed to be. It should be.
Absolutely. You're paying for those amenities.
Yeah. So you shouldn't be having a whole lot of people come in there. They're also on the marina, which is going to mean water transportation back and forth between the Magic Kingdom and there. It's also going to be making it really easy for those fireworks cruises and the fishing trips. Very similar to the Grand Floridian. You can also see the electrical water pageant, like we mentioned before as well. There's a number of activities that are in the Great Ceremonial House, like you can make a lei. I know you guys did stuff like that. Or you made, it wasn't a lei, you made some kind of necklace.
It was a, some kind of nut.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what
I don't remember what it was.
But you can get leis when you walk in.
But they do different activities, like most of Disney's.
Yeah. Movies under the stars.
Yep, they'll do
tie-dye
movies, tie-dye shirts. I think they do the s'mores there.
You can see characters sometimes.
The very first time we stayed there, I walked out to go get ice cream, and Milana was sitting right outside the pool.
Yep.
So they're out and about.
Yeah,
just kind of periodically.
Keep an eye out for them. There's no necessarily planned times.
No, they don't really.
We've seen them at a couple of different resorts we've been to.
Yeah.
We saw Milana there, and then we stayed at Beach Club. We had some of the Fab Five that were.
We also saw, I think it was Goofy over at Wilderness.
Yeah, I think you're right. Would you stay there again? That's kind of a silly question.
That's a no-brainer.
To me, there are tiers as far as Disney, especially their deluxe resorts go. Polynesian's got to be. I'm not gonna. It's number one for me, but it should be in the top 3 for probably everybody. It's an original resort. It's got
and they've got a whole new tower they're getting ready to open,
which is going to be available to book on June 6th. So very shortly after this episode releases, it'll be available to book.
And I'm eager to see what kind of restaurant they're going to bring in. There's rumor that they're bringing in a restaurant at that tower.
Yep, we don't know exactly, I don't think, where it's going to be. From what I've seen, the assumption, there's like a little kick out almost.
Yeah,
on
like
it,
a little hut almost.
Which is where the restaurant's going to be.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people sad that they took away, what was it, the
luau.
The luau. Yeah. We never had a chance to see that.
By the time we went over.
But, I am excited to see how they move forward.
Yeah.
With adding this tower. I know it's going to bring a lot more people to that resort.
It certainly will. And they may have the luau back. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like I said, we never got to experience that. I don't know how popular or unpopular it was. Everybody that I've talked to that actually went loved it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean things were popular. People love Country Bear Jamboree too. But just like anything else, if people aren't going and paying for it, they're not going to keep it around. They're going to do things to try to up their game. So that kind of takes us through the Polynesian. Is there anything you want to add or any comments on the Poly?
I think it's a great resort.
It is.
It is a deluxe resort. You're going to be paying deluxe prices. But if you time it right and are a little bit flexible, you can catch a sale on it.
Yeah.
It's like I said, when my parents went with us in September, they never had stayed on property. Growing up, we always stayed off property.
Yeah, certainly.
And my dad made a comment. He said there's just something to be said about staying this close. It was just so convenient to go back and forth, especially to Magic Kingdom, because that was the only resort we did in that trip was Magic Kingdom. We did a Magic Kingdom day, and then we actually did the party.
We did the party, yeah.
But we went back.
Well, if it's raining,
Yeah.
Which again, you should
it
be
was
prepared
raining.
for
We
rain.
got on the monorail
And we literally turned around
and
and
went
back.
to Magic Kingdom, and we didn't even leave the monorail station.
Yeah, we turned around and went back.
We turned around and went back and went to dinner at Ohana.
That being said, we go a lot. Somebody who maybe this is a once in a lifetime trip. If you're going to Florida, especially in the summer, it's going to rain.
It's going to rain. Prepare for that.
There's a couple of things you can do. You can always pack rain gear, and I recommend definitely bringing 2 pairs of shoes. If you have like something like Crocs for when it rains to throw on, that's not a bad idea because they drain basically, and then you put your tennis shoes back on with your socks. But typically, Florida rain doesn't last.
No, it's usually a quick shower.
That day, it was clear. It cleared up within an hour. You know, we just knew we were going to the party and decided, hey, we're not going to spend the rest of the evening at Magic Kingdom. We're going to take an early night, go get some dinner, and kind of hang out. Yeah. They still did fireworks that night.
They did. I remember.
Yeah, we did. We watch them from the beach.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't watch them from the beach, but
I could hear them from the room.
We stepped outside to see if we could see them from our room.
Yeah, so that's always something to keep in mind. So the news segment I have here, and you got to give reasons behind this. I want to see if we disagree on anything.
Oh, we probably disagree on some
We
things.
might agree on all these. When I was putting them together, we might. I think we're going to agree on them.
We'll have to see.
So it's going to be a this or that. Mickey Pretzel or Mickey Premium Bar?
I'm going to have to go with a Mickey Premium Bar. The last time I had a Mickey Pretzel, it was dry.
Yeah. So Mickey Pretzels, if you catch them when they first bring them out, they're good. I mean, they're a theme park pretzel.
I like a good pretzel.
They're a theme park pretzel.
I feel like they're overrated.
I don't disagree. So I'm going Mickey Premium Bar.
I know you're going Mickey Premium Bar.
We have them at our food line sometimes. We almost always have them at our Walmart. And we'll get them. The only downside to a Mickey Premium Bar.
Is it come in a 6-pack?
I'm talking in the parks. The only downside is, especially in the heat, they're going to melt quick.
They melt quick.
So if you're giving them, especially to a kid, you're going to have a mess on your hands.
Yes, absolutely. They're going to have chocolate and vanilla everywhere.
It's worth it. It's easy to clean up.
You're at Disney.
You're at Disney. Let them eat a chocolate bar.
Let them have a Mickey Premium Bar at 9 o'clock in the morning.
That being said, if you just bought a $200 dress from Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique,
might be a different story.
You may want to bring a change of clothes.
Or a bib.
Or bib. These are 2 restaurants we've only eaten at once. Steakhouse 71 or Yachtsman. Steakhouse 71 is in the Contemporary. Yachtsman is at the Yacht
Club. I don't know. I kind of like Yachtsman.
I told you we were going to agree on everything. This could just be the one night. I was not overly impressed with Steakhouse 71.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was good, but it wasn't...
It didn't blow me away. Now, there are some things at Steakhouse 71, like I think it's called the Stackhouse Burger. I've never had that. I've heard that's phenomenal. And I've heard their breakfast is good.
I have heard their breakfast is good. We haven't made it over there for breakfast.
The one experience that we had compared to the one experience at Yachtsman, I would say Yachtsman's probably.
And Yachtsman was really easy to get into.
Yeah.
Like, I think we made that reservation a couple hours before.
That day, yeah, we did. And the other thing, and I know some other Disney resorts have it, they had like a this white chocolate thing for the kids.
For the kids, and she absolutely loved that.
She loved that. It was really cool to see. This next one's not even a question. I don't even know I put it on here. But I put it on here. Happily Ever After or Luminous?
You know I'm going to have to go with Happily Ever After.
Luminous is great. Harmonious, in my opinion,
I think Harmonious was better. I was really sad to see Harmonious go out.
So, Harmonious or Happily Ever After?
That's a tough one.
I still say Happily Ever After.
I think I am going to have to go with Happily Ever After. I think just the whole story.
Happily Ever After pulls at the heartstrings.
It really pulls at the heartstrings.
Yeah. Plus seeing Tink fly and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I really feel like they capture a story.
Yeah.
With Happily Ever After.
And Enchantment was good too.
Enchantment was good,
but it did
not grab that story the way that Happily Ever After does.
Yeah. So, if you could, let's take kids needing nap out of the equation. Rope drop to fireworks or take a break?
Which park am I at?
Magic Kingdom.
I'm probably going all day.
To me, it would depend on the time of year. You're talking about the perfect time of year, and
if
I would say
If I'm
I
going,
wouldn't wanna wait.
late January,
Yeah. Like if you're going, like we're going
but
in
like
June,
in June, we're gonna have to take a break
you want to take a break from that like
because it's
11
gonna be
to
hot.
3
It's gonna
time
be
frame.
hot, and yeah, you want to do everything,
Yeah.
but you know,
We always tell these people that we send to Disney, you're not going to do everything. The parks were
there's no
designed
way.
to not do
Yes,
everything.
they
want
want you to come back.
And we talked about that 11 to 3, 11 to 2 time period. I was actually listening to another show. If you haven't checked out the Adventures of a Disney Dad podcast, go ahead and check them out. Statistically, 11 to 2 is the longest wait time, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why are all these people going to stand in this heat?
Yeah, and a lot of the rides wait times are outside.
Yeah, a lot of them are outside. So from that time, maybe go check out a show. Like if you're in Magic Kingdom, they've got Mickey's PhilharMagic, or like definitely take advantage of, especially if you're at the Polynesian.
The Enchanted Tiki Room.
Yeah, Enchanted Tales with Belle.
Yeah.
But if you're at the Polynesian, hop on that monorail or the boat
home,
and go back.
Go back. No.
Take a nap. Jump in the pool.
Go back to your room.
The last one I have, which we are going to disagree on this one. Ohana for breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Or Ohana for dinner, and why?
We're definitely disagreeing on this one. I'm going breakfast. That's the best breakfast in my opinion on Disney property. I like the pog juice, which is pineapple, orange, guava deliciousness, which I actually also found at our local food line.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same.
It's more pineapple-y.
But it's a close substitute.
It's good. It's good.
And then, I'm partial to some good Mickey waffles.
I think that's
I like the pineapple ham and the pineapple coconut bread.
I think my hiccup though is outside of the ham and the coconut bread. It's a fairly standard Disney breakfast.
Sure.
Where like Tusker House has a ton of African themed food.
I'm not that.
She's not that
adventurous in my tasting.
But I think that's my thought is I can
sure.
make Mickey waffles here.
Sure, but then you're also getting Stitch and Lilo.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's another thing. You're paying for the.
You're also getting a character meal.
Yeah, you are getting a character meal, and you can't meet Lilo anywhere outside of that.
No.
Stitch is back meeting and greeting in Magic Kingdom, but you're not going to get the same interaction in my opinion as
Pluto
and Mickey.
Yeah,
it is a good character.
It is luau gear.
It's probably, as far as the characters, the only other one that to me comes close is Topolino's, but it's a completely different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite is dinner.
Why is dinner your favorite?
I love soy-based things. Like I love Chinese food and Japanese food and all that kind of stuff. This isn't Chinese or Japanese food, but it does have a soy influence, which is really good to me. Their pork dumplings are really good.
I remember when you first tried those.
I think I ate like 10 of them.
You said, I don't know what these are, but
I didn't know what they were, but
they were pretty good.
Their wings to me are good.
I do like the steak and the shrimp.
Yeah.
But the chicken has...
The chicken's the weak point.
Is it like a...
Chimichurri.
Yeah. I could do without that.
I actually like the chimichurri. A couple times, we've been, I think, 3 times for dinner.
Yeah.
And the chicken's been dry each time. Which chicken is
hard.
It's hard to cook.
They're cooking a lot.
Yeah. But that's the weak point if there is one. And that's still, it's still fine. It's just not, oh my God, this is the best chicken I've ever had. So I think that's going to about wrap up our episode. We want to thank y'all for listening. If you'd like a quote for your next Disney or Universal vacation, we're going to leave the quote form down in the bio or the podcast notes. Just make sure you select us as the preferred agent. That way we get the quote request. If you want to follow us on social media, it's going to be on Instagram, Jamie_Magical Vacations. TikTok is going to be Jamie_Such a Time Travel. YouTube, Magical Vacations by Jamie and Brandy. And Facebook is going to be Magical Vacations by Jamie and Brandy. Such a Time is this a travel agency. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure to rate and review it. It helps people find it. You can also share it with any friends who are planning a Disney trip. This might help them
make a decision
on which resort they want to do. And we're going to be going through each of the resorts. Like I said, we're kind of starting in the Magic Kingdom area. We may kind of break it up a little bit depending on what's going on and do some other things in between. If you're listening on Spotify, we're going to leave a question down there. associated with this episode, and it's going to be, what is your favorite thing about the Polynesian Village Resort? And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel and the video, and we will see you guys next week.
Thanks for hanging out.